Now, you remember this is the guy who said he was on the Appalachian Trail. This is one of my best predictions of all time. Day one, they can't find the governor of South Carolina. And then we get a report that he's hiking the Appalachian Trail, but that no one can reach him. I immediately called bullshit. I said, there's no way there's a governor that's inside the United States of America hiking on a trail and we can't find him. Day two, can't find him. I said, no way. And look, now in hindsight, it looks like, well, of course he was with his mistress. But you have to remember, at that moment, everybody in the mainstream press is like, well, that he's probably hiking on the trail. We're, trying to look for him on the trail and figure out where he is. Because they have to accept everything a politician says at face value. And I don't have to accept that. I know BS when I see it, and Mark Sanford is covered in BS. So he's disgraced, but he doesn't resign. And of course, we found out that he had a mistress in Argentina, and that's who had gone to visit. But it gets worse. He had used taxpayer money. This guy who built his whole career on, I have fiscal discipline. I am very frugal, and I spend the taxpayer money wisely. Unless, of course, I'm using it to get on a plane to have sex with my mistress. Now, he hadn't used it in that case, but in years earlier, he had used taxpayer-funded plane trips to go have sex with his mistress. Oh, come over it. That man should never enter politics again. You know that this clown voted for impeachment of Bill Clinton? He said what Clinton did in cheating on his wife that way and lying about it was reprehensible. He should be driven from office. He should resign immediately. When he had his chance to resign as governor, wouldn't take it. What did he do? He had an affair. He lied about it. So now he's back. He's running the 1st district. In South Carolina, that is a deeply conservative district. That is Tim Scott's former district. He went up to the Senate. Tim Scott, now the most conservative senator probably in all of the United States Senate. So who's Sanford going to run against? Because he just won the primary. He wound up beating Curtis Bostic 57-43 last night. So he'll now be running against Elizabeth Colbert Bush, who's, of course, Stephen Colbert's sister. Now, she's leading in the polls, 47-44. It's incredibly close. But we haven't had the campaign yet, and it is very conservative. So it is very likely that Mark Sanford could be back in the United States Congress. By the way, the hypocrisy never ends with Sanford. You know what? He was in Congress before he was governor. He said, I'm a firm believer in term limits. 3 terms and I am out, except for when I come back in. He's going, of course, beyond the 3 terms now. He's Mark Sanford. So he's now, of course, found God. So all of this is okay. Let's hear from him.
You know, one thing that I've consistently done through this campaign is to acknowledge the fact that I failed back in 2009. But there's been a lot of time since then. And there was a great sermon just last Sunday at the church that I attend where he said, you know, do the events of your life refine or define your life? And I think that political opponents, naturally enough, will want to make any event define your life. And what I think we find, whether it's you, me, or any of us out there, we'll have different events wherein we wish we could have done things differently. We wish we could have handled them better. But in fact, they help us to ultimately refine our lives, make us that much better a person, maybe walk out into the arena of politics a bit more humble than we were before.
That's awesome. When it's a Democrat, Elliot Spitzer, Anthony Weiner, you're in the wilderness, you're gone. You're a goner, you can't come back. But those guys didn't run on family values. This guy runs on family values. Well, you know, there was a moment where I slipped up. You mean the moment where you repeatedly went to Argentina to have sex with your mistress and cheat on your wife after you ran on family values your entire political career? Do you mean all of those moments? But no, if it's a Republican, oh, that's all right. I just talked to God. He said it was okay. Give me more of that.
So how has this event changed you as a public servant, changed you as a man? You've said it might make you more empathetic. How would you be a better public servant because of what you went through and because of the scandal?
I think that there are too many people in politics that think that they know it all. And I think that they project this whole image of perfection, that, you know, the perfect family, the perfect person, the perfect this. The reality is none of us are perfect. And I think that the sooner we recognize it in ourselves is the sooner that we begin to have real conversations with other people.
Now, Jake Tapper used to ask tough questions when he was a White House correspondent. What the hell was that? How has this made you a better candidate? A better politician? Make you a... No. It doesn't make him better. It makes him worse. We realize what a fraud he was all along. You should be asking that question, not how did... You know what I want to say? Having sex with your mistress winds up Why am I? How does fucking your mistress make you a better candidate? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How does it make you a better candidate? And he turns around like, oh, no. It's okay. It turns out I'm not perfect. Oh, no shit, Mark. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, the big lesson you learned that you're not perfect. Oh, well then welcome right back into office. Why do you ask him about the hypocrisy on impeachment, on spending government money? This guy was charged with taking a plane ride to get a haircut. You think he cares about your money, the main thing he's running on? He doesn't give a damn about your money. And he's about to use God again. He wins in the primary, and here he is last night.
I want to thank my God.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I used to cringe when somebody would say, okay, I want to thank my God. It was at that point, okay, this is getting uncomfortable. But once you've really received God's grace and seen it reflected in others, you cannot stop and stop for a moment and publicly acknowledge that grace.
All of a sudden, he found his God. Right before he was about to get on top of his mistress, God was lost. Couldn't find him. Hey, God, where are you? No, sorry, can't hear you. Oh, sick to run, right? Now, he's getting back into office. All of a sudden, there's God again. Well, what a wonderful coincidence that is. It's a good thing you found him. Who buys this load of crap? Apparently Republicans in South Carolina, because they don't believe in family values either. That's just an excuse to hate gay people. When you have a guy who crapped all over his family values, destroyed his marriage, left his kids behind, what do you say? Oh, all's forgiven. God of second chances. My God is awesome. Oh, yeah, I'm not perfect. I move along. Get out of here. This guy should get crushed. He should be embarrassed. And anybody who votes for him in South Carolina ought to be embarrassed and should be prohibited from ever mentioning family values again, or let alone talking about how they're fiscally conservative, because you are no such thing. By the way, I had the executive director of the Republicans in South Carolina on the Young Turks last night on current television, and we had this whole debate about values. At the end, he wanted to mention values again. Oh, not on my watch.
And then I just know that on May 7th, Mark Sanford or Curtis Bostic, whoever our Republican nominee will go back to Congress, or will go to Congress for the first time, because Elizabeth Colbert Bush, just her values don't line up with that of the Low Country.
Please again, don't talk about values. But I hear you otherwise. Alex Stroman making the argument. Values. Her values don't match up with South Carolina's first district. Her values don't match up. Why? Is she got a couple of gigolos on the side? Is she going down to Brazil to have sex with other people? Is she run out? Her values don't match that district. So what are the values of the first district? Debauchery, orgies, unfaithful to your spouse, spending other people's money to go get haircuts. Well, are those the values you're talking about in the first district of South Carolina? Freaking outrageous, man. And by the way, just to rub it in your face, you know what Mark Sanford did? He brought out his mistress for his victory celebration. And by the way, he said later on Morning Joe this morning, he said, oh, I didn't know she was going to be there. Oh, what an unbelievable liar. Yeah, really. Oh, surprise, we brought your mistress out on your victory night. Of course they planned that. You believe anything this guy says? All right, well, watch his mistress. Okay, ready? And everybody's excited and taking pictures. They're fighting over how they're going to take pictures of her. All right, I will give Mark Sanford this. Might have been one. All right, that was. So how's that going to play out? I think there's a lot of Republican guys in South Carolina going, I hear you, brother. But my guess is there's also going to be a lot of women in South Carolina who are like, I do not hear you. You left your wife to be with that, woman right there. Oh, and now you're going to rub it in our face. I don't think so. What was that? Elizabeth Colbert Bush? Yeah, that sounds pretty good.